So on board the plane, okay, you guys are lucky because you're going with Turkish Airlines. I went with a cheap Hajj package, and I went on an Albanian airline that stopped in 3 different countries before we even got there. So we thought we were in Mecca when we were actually in Paris, and we were doing talbiyah until, and then we landed in Greece and we did our talbiyah thinking we were in Jeddah, and then we didn't know what was going on. And the steward and the stewardesses weren't prepared for us, and we used all the water on the plane, and everyone was trying to pray standing up in the plane. You can imagine it. The whole plane's got Muslim Hajj on there, and it was an absolute nightmare. So when you're on the plane, I don't recommend you try to pray standing up. Okay, it's just inconsiderate. And so just pray sitting down. There's a whole difference of opinion about this issue. Do you have to repay it? If you feel like you want to repay it for peace of mind, do so.
Just generally when you're travelling, just on any other flight, isn't the position that you have to ask if you can pray standing? If they say no, then you pray.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the one Muslim on the plane, I don't, I might consider doing that, okay? But if there's a number of Muslims on the plane, I won't even ask that.
Right, okay.
Because you know that you've opened up the floodgates, and it's just inconsiderate. And so it's perfectly permissible to pray sitting down. Some people say it's not valid on the plane. I mean, that's a big opinion. But if you, for peace of mind, want to repeat your prayer, repeat it when you get into Jeddah, okay? But as I said, to solve this whole issue, just pray before you get on the plane. So when you're on the plane, you can fall asleep. And then other issues are, direction. If you are praying, if it's a Fard prayer, you've got to face the direction of prayer, which is straightforward for us because you're going towards Mecca anyway. Even Turkey is generally that direction within 45 degrees. And then the other one is once you land, so you're going to do your talbiyah before you land. They generally announce it on the plane.
You know the 2 nafil for ihram, you don't need to be in a state
of ihram. The sunnahs, they're not nafil.
Sorry, the sunnah. Yeah. You don't have to be in a state of ihram to pray that 2 sunnah.
You won't be in a state of ihram, it's impossible.
Okay. Do it before you can do it.
It's the order is sunnahs to go in, then intention, then talbiyah.
Okay.
So as I said, generally I recommend you do that before you get on the plane, those 2 sunnahs. Oh, another thing I said is if you are praying, that's on the plane, I recommend you have a thick pair of hiking socks on before you go into ihram, because then you don't have to get your foot in the sink in the air, the toilet. It's near enough impossible, and so that means you can just wipe. And that's always an option for people. Okay, but you have to have wudu to put on the. So if you know the rulings about socks, you have to have wudu before you put on the socks, and then you can wipe across them. The condition of the sock is that the water doesn't penetrate on the wipe. So it's a must. So really, to be honest, most socks are actually valid. However, to be precautionary, I say a hiking sock. It's that when you do the wipe, it doesn't penetrate. And so that's always handy to have a pair of socks like that, wearing it when you're travelling, because it means you don't have to put your foot in the sink and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, that's it. But obviously when you're in state of ihram, you can't have those on for men.